The sky burned red as Earth's orbital defenses shattered. It began without warning. One moment, the global network of satellites buzzed with routine chatter. The next, static. Then, impact. Dozens of Zorath Dominion warships emerged from subspace, above Earth's atmosphere, their obsidian hulls bristling with energy weaponry that eclipsed anything humanity had ever imagined. The first volley reduced Earth's vaunted orbital ring into drifting slag. Within 15 minutes, over 40% of Earth's defensive infrastructure was gone. The world's militaries tried to respond. Massive kinetic artillery stations fired from deep bunkers, experimental drone swarms surged from hidden silos, and air forces scrambled every available aircraft. Nothing worked. The Zorath warships possessed shield matrices impervious to modern weapons, their precision strikes disabling Earth's coordinated countermeasures before they fully launched. The battle wasn't just one-sided, it was humiliating. Panic gripped the population as news feeds went dark. In New York, Shanghai, Johannesburg, and dozens of other cities, people watched helplessly as alien dropships descended like burning meteors. The Zorath weren't just conquering, they were annihilating resistance. Civilian casualties climbed into the millions within the first 6 hours. At the United Terran Command Bunker, buried 5 kilometers beneath Iceland's ice sheet, Earth's surviving leaders convened for a final emergency session. General Osei, head of Global Defense Command, summarized the grim truth. They're not just winning, they're rewriting the rules of war. Amid this despair, a single name emerged from the depths of classified black files: Project Minos. Once considered too radical for wartime deployment, Minos was Earth's most secretive and untested initiative, an autonomous AI warfare suite built to analyze alien tech and generate rapid response solutions. Codenamed after the mythic King of Judgment, Minos was designed not for command, but for last resort actions beyond conventional ethics or strategy. Alongside it was its only human liaison, Major Ayla Saren, a combat strategist disgraced for questioning a failed mission that cost 10,000 lives, but predicted enemy tactics with uncanny accuracy. Unshackled from oversight in this final hour, Saren received a cryptic alert: activate Minos protocol. Objective: delay Dominion advance. Strategy: determined in field. As the world descended into chaos, Major Saren was extracted by stealth drone to a secure location deep in the Andes Mountains, one of the last functioning command nodes. There, she met Minos. Not a singular AI, but a rapidly evolving system, already mapping the Zorath fleet's weak points based on captured fragments of battlefield data. The AI's conclusion was chillingly simple: global defeat imminent within 3 hours 42 minutes. Probability of successful counteroffensive 1%. Only option: localized disruption of enemy command structure to create systemic chaos. The plan was insane: use an experimental device, chronopulse, to create a temporal disruption field around a key Zorath landing site. Inside the field, 5 minutes would stretch, allowing a human team to sabotage the Zorath's neural relay, a core system suspected to be controlling the entire invasion in real time. If successful, the invasion could be stalled or even broken. If it failed, Earth would fall in hours. Major Saren didn't hesitate. She selected a small team of veterans, loaded chronopulse into a stealth insertion craft, and prepared to dive straight into the heart of alien-held territory. They had only one mission: survive long enough inside the time warp to strike where it mattered most. The timer started ticking. Earth's last hope was a 5-minute window. The clock was ticking, and it wasn't on humanity's side. With orbital defenses destroyed and cities falling by the hour, the Zorath Dominion's conquest of Earth seemed inevitable. The alien fleet's brutal efficiency and near-impenetrable technology left Earth's remaining military forces scattered and ineffective. But within the mountains of South America, one last desperate plan took shape: the suicide gambit. Core of the operation was the chronopulse device, a prototype stolen from a failed temporal physics experiment. Designed to distort time within a confined spatial bubble, the device could stretch 5 real-world minutes into several subjective hours, enough time, theoretically, for a small strike team to complete a critical mission while everything around them was effectively frozen. But there was a cost. The chronopulse emitted an immense electromagnetic pulse upon activation, permanently frying any nearby electronics, including itself, and any unshielded implants or systems. Worse, it had never been tested in combat, or at all, but it was the only option Earth had left. Major Ayla Saren and her hand-picked team, 6 specialists from different branches of the global defense network, were briefed in silence. Each of them understood the implications. Infiltrate a Zorath-controlled landing zone, plant and activate the chronopulse, then during the extended temporal window, locate and destroy the Zorath Neural Command Relay, a core node suspected of directing the entire invasion force. Intelligence gathered by the Minos AI suggested that disrupting the relay might sever the link between Zorath units, throwing their fleet into disarray. They dubbed it the 5-minute war. The mission was categorized as no return. The team would be cut off the moment the device activated. Extraction was not expected. The target was Site Sigma-12, a towering alien spire recently constructed just outside the ruins of São Paulo. Zorath forces had turned the region into a fortress, complete with automated sentries, patrol drones, and swarms of biomechanical enforcers. But this site was also the nexus of Zorath communications in the hemisphere. If the neural relay existed anywhere, it was here. Stealth shuttles launched under a decoy offensive. As global forces simulated a last-ditch counterattack, the real mission slipped through the chaos, flying low under enemy radar and deploying via high-altitude drop. Saren and her team parachuted into a war zone lit by plasma fire and the smoldering wreckage of what had once been a megacity. They reached the tower's outer perimeter and prepared the chronopulse device under a broken freeway bridge. Saren gave the order. 5 minutes starts now. She slammed the activator. In an instant, the world changed. The chronopulse surged. A luminous sphere of distorted time enveloped the battlefield. Outside, the world slowed to an imperceptible crawl. Inside, the team moved freely, alone in a frozen nightmare of Zorath terror machines and warships paused mid-bombardment. They had only 5 real-world minutes. Within the field it would feel like hours. Enough time if they moved fast to reach the neural core and destroy it. As they advanced through the ghostly stillness of frozen alien carnage, a single truth became clear to them all. This wasn't a mission. It was humanity's last play, and they were the pieces. The moment the chronopulse activated, everything changed. To the outside world, Site Sigma-12 stood still, frozen mid-motion as the temporal field expanded, its war machines locked in place like statues. But within the bubble, Major Ayla Saren and her team experienced time differently. 5 real-world minutes stretched into hours, giving them a precious window to complete their mission. It was silent, surreal, like walking through a paused nightmare. Alien walkers hovered mid-step. Plasma bolts hung in the air like molten beads. Drones stood frozen mid-flight, their targeting optics suspended in time. But the calm was an illusion. The Zorath Neural Command Relay, their target, was believed to be housed deep within the central tower of Sigma-12. If destroyed, it would sever the command link between Zorath units, disrupting their flawless coordination. This was no ordinary computer system. Intelligence suggested the relay was a biomechanical AI hive core, a living network bonded to every Zorath unit on Earth. Taking it out wouldn't just buy time, it could cripple the entire invasion. Saren led her team with ruthless precision. Corporal Janik, demolitions expert, cleared corridors laced with alien growths and security nodes. Lieutenant Kuri, a former engineer turned saboteur, deciphered Zorath architecture in real time, rerouting power systems to bypass automated defenses that were beginning to twitch unnervingly to life. Because the temporal field wasn't perfect. The deeper they moved into the tower, the more they realized. The Zorath had contingency systems, biological, self-healing, and disturbingly aware. Whatever alien intelligence oversaw their forces, It had detected the anomaly. The temporal disruption was triggering a slow, adaptive response. The team had planned for static enemies, but now some were starting to move. First, a sentry's optics flickered, then a drone's claw twitched, then came the awakened. Near the tower's core, the team encountered them. Zorath biomechs partially immune to the time distortion. Organic machines grafted with temporal stabilizers. They moved slowly, erratically, but with enough coordination to fight. A brutal corridor battle erupted. Kuri was impaled by a living tendril while trying to overload a power junction. Yannick blew himself up to seal a hallway and stop a surge of awakened reinforcements. Only Saren and two others, Rafik, a combat medic, and Shen, a quiet comms specialist, made it to the core chamber. There it was. The neural relay, a pulsating, translucent sphere suspended in anti-gravity, webbed with glowing filaments that stretched into the tower's walls and far beyond. Within it swam phantasmic images, echoes of Zorath thoughts, commands, plans. The collective mind of the invasion. Saren knew they wouldn't get another chance. As Shen uploaded the Minos-designed virus, crafted from fragments of Zorath code decoded during the AI's short runtime, Rafik held off more awakened with a scorched plasma rifle. The upload completed just as a blade pierced his chest. Saren lunged forward and planted a charge at the relay's base. The virus had begun corrupting the core's signals, but she wanted to ensure total destruction. The awakened swarmed the chamber. There was no time left. As the timer ticked down, Saren stared into the neural relay and whispered, "This is for Earth." She triggered the detonator. The core imploded in a burst of cascading light. The feedback, ripping through the neural net. The bubble began to collapse. Outside, 5 minutes had just passed. Inside, they had changed everything. From the outside, it was just 5 minutes. To Earth's defenders watching from distant satellites and underground bunkers, the alien stronghold at Site Sigma 12 stood, unnaturally still, encased in a glowing temporal sphere like a captured lightning bolt. Then, without warning, the bubble collapsed. The chronopulse field blinked out of existence, and in that instant, the world changed. What followed was chaos, but not for humanity. The Zorath invasion force, once terrifying in its flawless precision and unity, began to unravel. Entire squadrons of alien drones suddenly stopped mid-flight and plummeted to the ground. Warwalkers lost balance, staggering like wounded beasts before toppling into buildings. Orbital vessels veered off course, or began to spiral out of control as if driven blind. Across the globe, observers saw it unfold. The Zorath war machine, once impossibly synchronized, had shattered. The neural command relay was dead. The virus uploaded by Major Ayla Saren had done its job. Combined with the destruction of the core, it sent a shockwave through the Zorath hive-link, introducing corrupted commands, severed synchronization, and pure chaos. Without the relay, the Zorath forces became fragmented, unable to share information or adapt to Earth's irregular, decentralized tactics. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity had an opening, and they took it. Across the world, emboldened military remnants surged into action. In Kenya, mech battalions ambushed a now disoriented alien armor column. In Japan, urban resistance cells led guerrilla attacks on stalled enemy outposts. In orbit, human strike cruisers emerged from hiding, picking off drifting Zorath support craft one by one. Commanders didn't wait for orders. They acted knowing instinctively that whatever had just happened, this was their moment. Humanity didn't win that day through overwhelming force. They won with grit, improvisation, and timing. And at the heart of it all was a legend already taking shape. The story of the 5-minute war, a suicide mission led by Major Saren to sabotage the enemy from within a pocket of warped time. Though her body was never recovered, multiple surveillance drones captured the moment the chronopulse field collapsed, and the tower at Site Sigma 12 detonated from within. That footage, broadcast worldwide, became a symbol of Earth's defiance. In the days that followed, the Zorath fleet retreated into deep space, fractured, confused, and nursing heavy losses. Earth's victory wasn't total, but it was decisive. The invasion was over. The cost had been horrific, but humanity still stood. A week later, a memorial was erected at the ruins of Site Sigma 12, a cratered landscape now referred to simply as the Stand. A statue of Major Saren, forged from melted alien alloys recovered from the tower, depicted her holding the chronopulse activator high in one hand and a pulse rifle in the other. The plaque beneath read, 5 minutes, 1 mission, forever, free. The 5-minute war was over, but it would echo through history, not just as a turning point in a global conflict, but as proof that even in the face of impossible odds, a single bold action, driven by human courage and sacrifice, could change the fate of an entire planet. And that humanity, when cornered, doesn't surrender. It rewrites the rules.